This is George F551 with a piece of local history. For those of you not in the local area, you probably wouldn't care much. But then again, it's still kind of interesting. As indicated by the blue dots there, and you probably can't see the one that's over there, we are on the Monoosnoc Trail. Back in the late 1700s, 1780 or so, where Leominster, Fitchburg, and Princeton meet, was a small farming town that tried to establish itself. These very hills were once completely bare. Nothing but pasture for cows, sheep, and what have not. There were many winding dirt roads, as indicated by this wall and this wall. This was one of them. And ultimately, the town never succeeded in forming. In 1830, the town, or as we call it, Notown, disbanded. If you walk around the woods in Leominster and Princeton, and I think maybe Fitchburg, there are pieces of Notown that still exist. Hence the name Notown, because an attempted town never got established. We're here somewhat close to the Granite Street trailhead, or some roughly maybe that way is the West Street trailhead. I'd say probably 33% closer to that one than that one. Anyway, this is the largest section of Notown history that I could find. If you, anyone local area, knows where there are more pieces of Notown history within a single location, feel free to leave a comment. Or, better yet, if you've recorded a video, post a video response. We are going to look at cellar holes. And this is one of them. It's hard to see, but this was the foundation of a farmhouse. And farmhouses built around the 1700s and 1800s typically was a donut-shaped building with a huge fireplace in the center. That's what this mound over here is. And as you can see, sort of, because last year's ice storm caused a lot of tree damage, hence why that's all covered, you can kind of make out where there is, and in this case over here, was a cellar hole. And all the rooms would have a fireplace of their own, which is why it is such a big centerpiece there. Sadly, most of it is collapsed over here, and that corner is the only one that's fairly well preserved. And again, right here is where the fireplace was, and this would be the basement. So your house would be pretty much built around a giant chimney. And the donut part would be where all the rooms would be. And you had to have big chimneys, especially for the kitchen. On the other side of the street is another foundation of a home. And here we are. can see, after 170 years of total abandonment, there's not a lot that's remaining, although this wall is pretty much holding its own. As you can see, this was not a very huge house. I'd say it's about 15 feet wide and maybe 35 feet long. May have been a 1.5 story. And as you can see, there was no central fireplace. Although I'm sure on one end there was one. I'm just not sure which. There isn't much to look at. However, this particular farmhouse had its own barn. And we're going to go look at that. Here's a rejected piece of granite. That was from the granite quarry days. Climbing the foundation. And apparently there was a building of some sort here, maybe. But here's the best kept one. This is the barn. Let's go in. I'm gonna go around a little bit. Ooh. Don't want to fall down that hole. Apparently they had a well. And there's a mattress buried in here. I don't know if you can see the springs. Probably can. Not visible in the viewfinder. Then there was something metal there. This was probably a bulkhead entrance to the basement. And I'm getting my favorite low battery. Isn't that wonderful? And finally, whoa. Branch gave way that I was holding on. That's nice, huh? Here we are in the middle of the barn. Let's take a good look at this. This is probably the best preserved piece of history. Although you might be able to notice that this wall is bulging that away. Although it's still straight. And this little section has seen better days, and this section fell completely in. Let's get another view from over this side. And here we are on the opposite end. And there's the bulkhead we climbed out of. And here's the roadside. And this is the road. The North Monoosnoc Trail now. Many of the old roads are still present as walking and hiking trails. Monoosnoc Trail being a large part of it. And this is the largest piece of Notown that I have found. Like I said, it's roughly 1/3 of the way from the Granite Street trailhead to the West Street trailhead. And that's a little piece of Notown. Hope you enjoyed it.